also in the concept of Katha Upanishad, which is also coming in Mahabharata. So likewise, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad or Vedanta, what we call. Upanishad is the word given later, because Upanishad is the procedure by which one takes it. By sitting by the side of the master, Upanishad in the sense, by giving him all the years, not only that mind and surrendering to him, getting it, Upanishad. So that is how the word is being an epistemology of the word says. So you get that we call it Upanishad. Earlier it is called Vedanta. So that's why because Vivekananda coined the term Vedantin in the sense the one who grabbed the essence of the Upanishad and adopting it to the modern life. Because getting the concept of Upanishad is okay, but how to, you cannot win because they have said at that point of time how they have lived and what is the concept and all. But how you adopt and so that you will be able to elevate yourself, into a higher being than what you are. Because one simple thing, what we can say is every house, there is a birth takes place. Human beings are born. Likewise, for animals, their own sort of, they reproduce and their own, species are born. Fish, everything and all. But then the why greatest thing about what the greatness of the human being is, when a human being is born, he has got the ability to become and produce, give rise to the humanity. Whether humanity is born in every house, that is a question. The human being is born. From human being, how human you are, how better human you can become. What is the ultimate, the sort of the dream line, to which you can read. What is the datum line, where you can reach, the highest possibility for a human being to reach. That is the highest possible humanity. So it is basically once we are born up to 3-4 years, we are innocence personified. We don't have carry any luggage. Slowly we start living in this world and slowly start getting assimilated into this world by virtue of our sort of training by our parents, teachers and masters. Slowly we accumulate and then we carry our own sort of luggages, our own attitudes, our own sort of angularities, our own thinking, everything comes. So innocence is slowly being lost. And once you realize this, living in this world, what is that we are living in, how we have lost the innocence, but what purpose it is for, once you realize that is Adhyatma. Till then, because you will go on enjoying the ways of the world and till such time you are able to get across, you will do it. But only when reason fades, something happens, which can't be explained, inexplicable, happening that takes place. Then you think, is there a God? Or is there someone to look up? Then only you think, there is someone who can help you. Till such time you don't bother. When things are going, I am doing, I am getting it done, everything by virtue of my efforts, and I have put in all the efforts, I am getting it. Well, it is. You have done. But then something happens. Are you able to face it? But you are not able to. You need someone. Aadhar, what they call. Like we have Aadhar card. He is the one. Finally, someone is there. Who is that someone? That someone is being called as a Brahman in Upanishad and Holy Father, in the Christianity, and somewhere else, because Allah they call it, in the Zendavesta, it is called in the Persian literature. Likewise, everywhere, it is all being called by different names. So when it is being called by different names, finally that is the one, because Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuta Vadanti, when Rigveda says, it is finally one and the only truth. Everyone tries to explain it in a different way because that is how they were able to accord and understand and change themselves to live in this world. But if you are not able to change yourself and live in this world, there is no Adhyatma. Adhyatma is just about how to change ourselves to become a better human being. To finally get the ultimate pinnacle of the humanity is the purpose of it. When someone becomes something like highest master and all, he is the humanity personified because he has got nothing he has excluded everything of his wants, his own being, his self, and he doesn't have any ahankara, everything he left it. And he is only looking at everything as it is. Yathartha, when they say, as it is, when you are seeing, you are not coloring it, with your attitude, and you are not coloring with it your, because your own angularities. Because we have all been trained, we all carry the angularities because none of us are perfect. The imperfection is there. Once we have understood that we have imperfection, we have embarked upon this Adhyatma. So till such time you are not able to embark upon this journey, you will only be, confounding with whatever is happening around, reacting to everything and all. There will be a life, which you have lived, it has come and gone, and because you will only be, sometimes you will be struggling, sometimes you will be in the sort of ecstasy, you will be extreme happiness, everything will happen. But finally, all these things, what does it mean, for our own sort of understanding ourselves? Understanding ourselves, understanding ourselves to be the human being par excellence. What is that? That is what exactly the Vedas and Upanishads have said. Because the world will be the human beings are the best, whatever be the percentage of human beings are good, the world will be good. The percentage of human beings are not so good, the world will be like that. You will be feeling the world, you will be living in this world, you will be following the world, but there will not be end to that. It is meant for the humanity as a whole. That's why what has been discussed is not for the particular religion or Hindutva or something like that. It is meant for the whole world. This is the wisdom. That's why, because people who have understood in those days, even by the second-hand knowledge of the translation, which has come, because the first person to have translated the entire the Vedas, the Upanishad portion of it, surprisingly, Aurangzeb's brother, Dada Shekha, he took some interest. He is a sort of a religious as well as he is a person who beyond, gone beyond, all these perversities and all. He took some interest. He brought it, into the Persian. That is the first one. From there, other masters have taken from Latin, Spanish, and finally, the great masters in the West, they got it. They are all got the third hand and fourth hand translation of the Upanishad. If they could appreciate and if they say such a wonderful knowledge is available in the East, and we sitting here in this land, right away, in front of, because it's the book, it's already, you got the buffet in front of you. Everything is available, but you are not able to take it. Is, in the sense, it is what we miss, we will not understand unless we know the great masters. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he is, of course, the 18th century, 19th century, the master of the US. He got to know, he said, there is something, it's like that. He got so taken away. Most of his works are based on the Upanishadic concepts only. And in fact, I have got a research paper written on Ralph Waldo Emerson on what he has understood about Sanatana Dharma. There is a research paper published in an American university. I got that book. I happen to name the book because there is a national, because Indian national publication is there. Because normally people don't go there. You got a lot of big volumes available. Even Mahatma Gandhi's entire, the life and whatever he has taught, everything is available. But people, unless you have an interest, you may not be able to go there. In one such thing, I saw Lord Waldo Emerson's sort of understanding of the Sanatana Dharma and Upanishad. I saw a research paper. It is almost 540 pages, written by one research scholar from US. He has written, and he has quoted all scriptures of Indian. He has gone through entire thing, Sanatana Dharma, and he has quoted it. That means after third hand translation or fourth hand translation of Upanishad could have made such an impact on those masters. Henry David Thoreau, we might have known, we might not have known the name, or some of us might have heard. The civil disobedience, the moment, which Mahatma Gandhi who brought it, was brought in by Henry David Thoreau, who lived in the 18th century in US. He created, he was because he never wanted, every individual has to be independent, he has got a right to be independent. He has to think about himself and all. He was also influenced by the Upanishad. Likewise, everywhere. Of course, Max Miller, we know, who came here and then, of course, understood. He took the concept. He presented the Western view through that, because then there are a lot of imperfections in that. That is why, because then when Vivekananda came, he wanted, because he brought in so many things, which could be, misunderstood, can't be appreciated as well as that. That's why, he brought this. He went to, the Chicago, that entire thing he brought in, and afterwards, he created Vedantic Society in New York, Los Angeles, even in Boston, right in Harvard, it is there. So likewise, everywhere he brought in and all. So when these things happened, he wanted to bring some sort of a unanimity, in all the thoughts in that, because he wanted to bring in, he called Neo Vedanta. Vedanta gives the final ultimate, because the whatever the essence of the Vedas and ultimate sort of a bouquet of, the entire elixir for a human being to become a perfect human being and go beyond, transcend beyond what he is. He's capable of much more than that they gave it. He gave it as a color of Neo Vedanta, because otherwise people were not, because you might have seen, in the 18th century, India was not India, because there was a poverty everywhere and all. And people were not having so much of a lifespan, and people were sort of one against the other, this type of thing that was created by the British, by the Thomas Bobbington Macaulay. We brought in a sort of a system, by which, people who were elite, who were only be talking in English, and because not bothered about what our Sanatana Dharma or our scriptures have said in our respective states, whether it is Maharashtra, Telangana, or Tamil Nadu, everywhere, and the masters were there, and all those things have been neglected. They have been given a secondary treatment, and this was happened. Finally, we want to bring everything together into that. So, Vivekananda is single point and arrow. He went there. He brought in this. Okay, you just serve the people, because bring them out of the ignorance. What we call avidya and vidya, the two greatest concepts that has been coming through in all the Upanishads, including Katha Upanishad. We will be talking about that. That is finally to bring about. Therefore, in effect, Veda is one and the same. Upanishad is one portion of it, supposed to be at the end of it. But not all Upanishads are at the end of it. For instance, the first Upanishad we have taken in this journey is Isavasya Upanishad. It is coming in the Samhita portion itself. Samhita portion in the sense where you are invoking all the natural gods and all. When it came, why it came was, it brought about the glorious concept which has become the prime mover for other Upanishads to come. So that's why we took up the Isavasya Upanishad. It has got 18 mantra, like the 18 chapters of Gita. It has got 18 mantra. Each of the mantras giving you in capsule the entire concept of the greatest concept. All these Upanishads are expounding. It is something like that. You can take. It's not exactly so, because our systems are so complex, because it brings Katha Upanishad by itself, is a great thing. So is Mundaka Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad. Everything is there. But Isavasya Upanishad bring everything in a capsule. It is some sort of an executive summary of all the Upanishad. So once you have taken that, from there you can connect to every Upanishad, not necessarily in that order, but you will find the concepts coming forth and going back. Because that's why we are sometimes quoting Ishavasya Upanishad also, whenever we say, because the concepts have been brought in there, and the expounding and the expansion of those concepts takes place in other Upanishads. By and large, but they are unique in their nature. All the Upanishads have got a unique concept. They bring in, because there are several aspects to the human developments that has been understood only by Sanatana Dharma. It is not only one aspect, by which you are highly knowledgeable. Doesn't need, because you may be a great master, but doesn't make you a great human being. Your human being, you will have to trespass everything. Your intention of everything has to be as perfect as your action. That is the final evolution of the human being. This has been brought about. In fact, because all the Satapatha Brahmana and all what you are taking, it's a Brahmana portion of it. But it has been expounded by a group of people. We had so many group of people, in so many parts of the India. Each one of them have perfected that portion of the Brahmana, that portion of the Samhita. Because we have got different school of Samhita, different school of Brahmana, and different school of Aranyaka is there. Because they have all trying to develop to the utmost perfection. Because the human being is imperfect. You can't attain the perfection. But they have given so many methods and so many ways in which you can evolve yourself into a perfect being. And the journey to become a perfect is what we can have best in the life. It is not, you will not be able to reach the destination. The journey which you will have to undertake, and you will have to enjoy the journey, and you be part of the journey, totally committed to that. This is exactly, because what has been talked about. So in that context, you might have heard Satapada Brahmana, likewise Taiteya Brahmana, of which, the Katha Upanishad is being referred to. Katha Upanishad is also referred to in Mahabharata in a different context and all. So everything has been taken together to understand, to finally how we can perfect ourselves. So this is why, because ours is for the entire humanity, not for particular sect, not for particular religion, not for anything at all. It is encompassing Vasudeva Kudumbakam, Vasudeva Kudumbakam, when they say it encompasses the entire world, humanity, even the other galaxies, if the beings are there, it covers that also. with this, I think, this possibly is the one, which you might be, because Upanishad, Brahmana, you might be hearing, everything is part of the Veda world. What we have got only out of that, even the Upanishad is part of the Veda, Vedanta, Anta, and the end of it, it is there. It has been, and Swami Vivekananda gave a new name to Neo Vedanta because he said concentrate on the fellow beings. He said that is how he brought it. Even first, one of his greatest words, arise, awake, and all, is coming in this Upanishad little later. We will see that. He has brought this concept together and put it forth so that the people can understand everywhere, east, west, or north, south, everywhere.